This video is about she was just a nanny until a wealthy investor bought him a company. If this story inspires you, please like the video, share it with loved ones, and write in the comments how it touched your heart. In a sunlit corner of Maplewood, a small suburban town, lived a woman named Clara. At 32, she had a heart full of dreams but a bank account that often brought her back to reality. She was a nanny, a role she embraced with all the passion she could master. Caring for children was her calling. It filled her with a sense of purpose that few jobs could match. Clara had worked for the same family for 3 years, looking after 2 spirited kids, Mia and Ethan. Their laughter rang through the house like music, a sweet melody that contrasted with the chaos of day-to-day life. Clara adored their innocent view of the world and often found herself lost in their playful imagination. "Clara, look what I made," Mia exclaimed one afternoon, running to her with a piece of scribbled paper. The drawing showed a strange creature with big eyes and a smile that reflected the child's own joy. "That's beautiful, Mia," Clara said with genuine enthusiasm, kneeling down to eye level. "That is a fantastical creature. What is its name?" "It is a hope monster," Mia beamed. "It eats sadness and poops happiness." Clara laughed, appreciating that innocent transformation of gloom into light. But underneath her nurturing spirit, Clara felt the weight of her own worries pressing down on her shoulders. Her financial struggles loomed like dark clouds, threatening to overshadow the little joys. After finishing dinner and putting the children to bed, Clara sank into the old, worn-out couch in the living room. She could hear the faint sounds of laughter from the TV in the background, but her mind was elsewhere. Bills piled up on the coffee table, each one a reminder of the life she was struggling to maintain. As she stared at the bills, her phone buzzed. It was a message from her best friend, Sarah. "Let us get together tomorrow. I miss you." Clara hesitated. "Can I really afford to go out?" she murmured to herself, her heart heavy with doubt. But then she remembered me as drawing a reminder of the importance of joy and connection. "Okay," she typed back, "I'll be there." The next day, the 2 friends met at their favorite cafe. The smell of fresh coffee and baked goods filled the air, wrapping around Clara like a warm hug. As they settled into a cozy corner, Sarah's eyes sparkled with curiosity. "Tell me everything," Sarah encouraged, taking a sip of her latte. "How are things with the kids?" Clara smiled, her worries forgotten for a moment. "They're really great. Mia has been drawing these wild creatures, and Ethan is obsessed with dinosaurs. They keep me on my toes." "That is awesome. But what about you? How is the job treating you?" Clara hesitated, feeling the familiar tightening in her chest. "It is fine, but I feel like I am stuck. I want to do more, be more." Sarah nodded knowingly. "You're amazing with those kids. You have a gift. You could even start a daycare, or I don't know, something where you could use your skills." A flicker of hope ignited in Clara's heart. "Maybe, I just don't know where to start. The thought of taking that leap is terrifying." "Sometimes we have to leap into the unknown," Sarah replied gently. "You have the strength in you, Clara. You've always been resilient." That night, after returning to her host family's home, Clara lay awake, staring at the ceiling. Sarah's words echoed in her mind, and she felt a surge of determination. Perhaps it was time to dream bigger. Days rolled into weeks, and as the seasons changed from the golden hues of autumn to the stark white of winter, Clara began to take small steps. She researched online about running a daycare, visited local centers to seek advice, and even attended workshops. Yet, as her ambition grew, so did her challenges. The balance between work, studying, and saving was daunting. The household she worked for was supportive, but Clara still found it difficult to juggle her responsibilities. One evening, as she was tucking me into bed, the little girl noticed Clara's tired eyes. "Are you okay, Clara? You look like a sad panda." Clara chuckled softly, brushing her fingers through Mia's hair. "I am just a little tired, sweetheart, but I am working on something important." "What is it? I want to help," Mia said eagerly. Touched by the child's concern, Clara replied, "Well, I want to open a place where kids can play and learn, a place like a big fun house." Mia's eyes widened with excitement. "That sounds amazing. Can I help you build it?" "Of course, you'll be my very first helper," Clara said, grinning. "We'll create a hope monster as playhouse." The next day, Clara began sketching plans for her dream daycare. With the kids' laughter as her backdrop, she wanted it to be a sanctuary filled with creativity and joy. As she worked, she felt like a sculptor, chiseling away at her dreams. But setbacks came knocking, as they often do. One evening, Clara received news that the family she worked for would be relocating for the father's job. The weight of uncertainty fell heavily on her. How could she continue when her source of income was disappearing? Feeling lost, Clara sought solace in her favorite park. As she sat on a bench, watching families gather and children play, she felt the familiar ache of despair. What now? She whispered to herself. Just then, an elderly woman sat beside her, sensing her sadness. You look like you're carrying the weight of the world, dear, she said with warmth. I am trying to build something for myself, Clara admitted. But everything feels like it is falling apart. Sometimes, losing one thing opens up opportunities you never expected, the woman replied, her eyes twinkling with wisdom. You just need to keep your heart open, dear. A glimmer of hope flickered once more within Clara. Could this be a sign? She thanked the woman and returned home, the weight on her shoulders feeling just a little lighter. That night, she made a decision. She would not give up. Instead, she would embrace this change, viewing it as a chance to explore new horizons. She began networking, reaching out to families looking for childcare. As fate would have it, a wealthy investor named Thomas, known for his philanthropic ventures, bought the company where Clara had worked. He had a vision to transform the community, but needed people who shared his passion for nurturing the next generation. When Clara learned of Thomas's plans, her heart raced. Perhaps this was the opportunity she had been waiting for. Driven by a newfound courage, she reached out, introducing herself and sharing her dreams. Weeks passed, filled with nurturing hope and an unwavering belief that something great was on the horizon. Clara found herself increasingly inspired. Buoyed by the little victories she celebrated each day, words of encouragement from friends, the laughter of children, and the drawings that depicted a future she was determined to create. One bright morning, as Clara prepared to meet Thomas, she felt an unusual mix of excitement and nerves. She had dreamed of this moment, and it was finally here. She dressed thoughtfully, putting on a smile that radiated her belief in her vision. As she entered the meeting room, she found Thomas seated at the head of the table. His presence was commanding yet approachable, and Clara felt an instant connection. Thank you for meeting with me, Clara, he said, extending a hand. I've heard great things about you. Thank you for having me, Mr. Thomas, Clara replied, her voice steady. I believe we can create something remarkable together, a place where children can learn through play and develop their hope. With that, Clara shared her vision, her heart pouring out every word. This was not just about a daycare, it was about building a community, a safe haven where dreams could flourish. Thomas listened intently, nodding with understanding. By the end of the meeting, Clara felt a sense of possibility she hadn't experienced before. Thomas appreciated her passion and offered her an opportunity to be involved in the project's development. As she walked out of the building, Clara's heart soared. She no longer felt like just a nanny, she was a pioneer on the brink of changing lives. Through resilience and courage, she was finally on the path toward fulfilling her dreams. That evening, while putting the kids to bed, Clara reflected on her journey. She had faced hardships, uncertainty, and moments of doubt, yet each challenge had only fueled her determination. With Mia's hope monster in her heart, Clara was ready to embrace whatever lay ahead. The road ahead would undoubtedly be filled with challenges, but Clara now understood every setback was merely a setup for comeback. And as she settled into her own dreams, she knew that the beauty of the human spirit was to rise, to persevere, and to inspire. In the warmth of that cozy home, surrounded by the laughter of children, Clara felt hope blossom anew. The journey had only just begun. As Clara embraced her newfound momentum, she dove into the planning phases of the daycare project with unwavering determination. Days turned into weeks, and the excitement of possibility fueled her every step. But with ambition came obstacles. One evening, as she sat at her kitchen table surrounded by stacks of papers, detailed proposals, sketches of play areas, and lists of potential activities, Clara felt the weight of uncertainty creeping back in. The thrill of her meeting with Thomas had been exhilarating, yet now reality settled in. She still had no steady income. How am I supposed to fund this? She whispered to herself, the stress tightening her chest. Just then, her phone buzzed with a message from Sarah. Hey, how is everything going with the daycare plans? Clara took a deep breath, grateful for the distraction. It is exciting but overwhelming. I am struggling to figure out how to make it a reality. Remember what we talked about? You have the talent. Maybe start a GoFundMe or take some small business loans. Sarah suggested, her enthusiasm palpable through the screen. Clara mulled over the idea. Crowdfunding wasn't something she had considered. What if no one believed in her vision? But the thought of community support stirred something within her. Maybe I'll give it a shot, she replied. Yes, you've got this. Just think about all those kids you can help, Sarah encouraged. Clara felt a flicker of hope ignite. That weekend, Clara began drafting her crowdfunding pitch. She poured her heart into every word, describing her dream of a nurturing space that would foster creativity and joy. She titled her campaign Hope Monsters Playhouse, a nod to Mia's enchanting creation. After hitting publish, Clara felt her palms grow clammy. What if no one donates? She mumbled, doubt creeping back in. But deep down, she also felt the thrill of vulnerability. This was her dream laid bare for the world to see. Days passed, and friends and family shared Clara's campaign. Donations trickled in, some from familiar faces, others from strangers who had been touched by her story. Each contribution acted as a lifeline, filling her with renewed resolve. "Clara, look!" Mia squealed one afternoon, waving a colorful drawing above her head. "It is our Hope Monster playground." Clara knelt beside her, all washing over her. "It is beautiful, Mia. You've captured every detail. Can we really make it happen?" Mia asked, eyes wide with innocence. "Yes, with every little bit of help. We'll be closer to our dream," Clara assured, her heart swelling with pride for the little girl's belief. As donations continued to flow in, Clara found herself in a delicate dance of hope and anxiety. The daycare was still just an idea, and she had yet to secure a location. It weighed heavily on her. With bills still piling up, her savings dwindling, she needed a plan. One evening, while scrolling through property listings online, she stumbled upon a vacant storefront in the heart of Mayport. It had once been a bakery, its windows adorned with charming blue trim. It held potential, but the rent was higher than she had anticipated. "I can't afford that," Clara sighed, her hopes wavering. Yet something about the space called to her. What if it could be a community hub? She pondered aloud. Inspired, she decided to take a chance. Perhaps she could negotiate the rent or seek local partnerships. Summoning her courage, Clara called the property manager, her heart racing. After a brief conversation, she got a showing scheduled for the next day. Standing in front of the storefront, Clara felt a rush of emotions. The sun peeked through clouds, illuminating the dusty interior. It was a blank canvas begging for life. She envisioned the laughter of children splashing against the walls, a space full of creativity, learning, and hope. With each step inside, Clara's excitement grew. She envisioned play areas, art corners, and cozy reading nooks. But she also envisioned the challenges of transforming the space, repairs, decor, and furnishing, all while managing finances. "Clara, are you alright?" Mia's voice broke through her thoughts as she stood outside the shop, holding Clara's hand tightly. "I am just feeling a bit overwhelmed, sweet pea," Clara admitted, kneeling to meet her eye. "But remember our Hope Monster. We were going to turn this place into something magical." Mia smiled brightly, her innocence washing away Clara's worries. "Then we should start painting right now." With her childlike enthusiasm, Mia filled Clara's heart with warmth. "You were right, we can start planning, even if it is just in our heads." Encouraged, Clara returned home with renewed determination. She began sketching ideas for the layout, jotting down lists of supplies she would need. That night, as Clara lay in bed, she realized how crucial it was to find a way to make that space a reality. The following weeks were a whirlwind of activity. Clara continued to promote her crowdfunding campaign, her network expanding through word of mouth. Local businesses began reaching out, offering support in the form of materials or sponsorships. Amidst the chaos, she found time to meet with Thomas again. "I've been following your progress, Clara," he said with a warm smile during their meeting. "Your passion is contagious. How can I help?" Clara shared her vision for the storefront and the community partnership she was developing. His eyes sparkled with encouragement. "I'd like to assist you further, Clara. Let us discuss a financial contribution to help you get started." Tears brimmed in Clara's eyes. "Are you serious? This means everything." Thomas nodded, his expression earnest. "You're really the kind of person this community needs. I believe in you." With Thomas's support, Clara felt a surge of power coursing through her. She was building a dream not just for herself, but for the families who would walk through those doors. As the official opening day approached, Clara poured her heart into every detail. She spent hours painting walls, coordinating volunteers, and preparing activities that would set the foundation for Hope Monster's Playhouse. The excitement blossomed, but so did the tension. One evening, while preparing for a final walkthrough with Thomas, Clara received distressing news. The family she had been babysitting for unexpectedly decided to take another route for childcare. The loss felt like a punch to the gut after all the effort she'd put forth. "Clara, breathe," Sarah said through the phone, her voice steady. "This doesn't define your worth. You have so much support backing you. Don't lose faith." Clara allowed Sarah's words to wash over her. You rewrite, it's just one setback. I still have so much to be grateful for. Exactly, and think of the kids waiting to play at your place, Sarah encouraged. Determined to shift her perspective, Clara poured her energy into the opening day activities. She rallied local families to attend, creating buzz and excitement. On the day of the grand opening, Clara stood outside the storefront taking a deep breath as children and their families lined up. The joy on their faces filled her with warmth. Neil was at her side, beaming with pride. "Look, Clara, that is so colorful," she exclaimed as they stepped inside. The playhouse was alive with laughter, bright colors, and whimsical designs. "Welcome to Hope Monster's Playhouse," Clara called, her voice ringing with excitement. "This is a space for creativity, friendship, and learning." As families explored, Clara felt a wave of love wash over her. She witnessed children running, laughing, and sharing in this magical space. Thomas stood by, observing the wonder in their eyes. "Clara, you've created something remarkable," he said, pride radiating from him. "I couldn't have done it without the support of my community," she replied, her heart swelling. In the days that followed, the playhouse blossomed into a vibrant hub. Clara hosted storytelling sessions, art classes, and outdoor playdates. The lives of those children were intertwined with her vision, each child bringing a sense of purpose to Clara's work. Months passed, and as Clara reflected on her journey, she felt a deep sense of gratitude. She had faced trials, but through perseverance and resilience, she had transformed her dreams into a reality. One afternoon, as she sat with Mia and Ethan, painting vibrant canvases, Clara found herself overwhelmed with emotion. "You know, little ones, this place is our Hope Monster's dream. Every time we create joy here, we're refeeding our hopes." Mia beamed. "And it will grow bigger and bigger." "Yes," Clara smiled, her heart alight. "Just like us." As laughter filled the air, Clara recognized that the essence of the Hope Monster lived not just in the playhouse but in every act of kindness, every moment of resilience, and the unwavering belief in the beauty of dreams. In Maplewood, a small town where dreams blossomed, Clara had not only built a daycare but a community thriving on love, support, and hope. The journey was far from over, but Clara now understood that the power of the human spirit was limitless, capable of overcoming the most daunting obstacles and illuminating the darkest paths. And as the sun set over the playhouse, Clara felt a sense of peace. She was not just a nanny anymore, she was a beacon of hope, nurturing the dreams of countless children, proving that resilience, kindness, and belief could change lives forever. As the months rolled on, Clara's Hope Monster's Playhouse became a sanctuary not just for children but for families longing for connection. The walls echoed with playful laughter, and colorful art adorned every inch of the space, a testament to the creativity blooming within. Clara had transformed her dreams into reality, yet her journey was far from over. One crisp autumn afternoon, Clara gathered the children for circle time. With a blanket spread across the floor, they all nestled in, eager to hear another magical story. "Today, let us talk about a brave little seed that dreamed of being a mighty tree," she began. The children's eyes sparkled with anticipation, their imaginations ready to take flight. As she wove the tale, Clara felt a familiar wave of joy wash over her. But beneath her enthusiasm, she could sense an undercurrent of pressure. While the playhouse thrived, the reality of running a business weighed heavily on her shoulders. Bills loomed larger than before, and with increased enrollment came the need for more resources. Clara, the familiar face, called out as she finished the story. It was Sarah, her best friend, who had come to volunteer that day. "You're amazing. The kids adore you." "Thanks, Sarah," Clara replied, forcing a smile as she pushed away the nagging doubts. "I just want to make sure this place continues to grow." Sarah noticed the slight edge in Clara's voice. "What is bothering you?" "It's just I love this place, but I am not sure how to handle everything. The expenses are piling up, and I am worried about sustaining this dream," Clara admitted, her voice wavering. "Clara, you've built something incredibly special. You're not alone in this. We'll all figure it out together," Sarah reassured, placing a comforting hand on Clara's shoulder. Clara felt a flicker of hope as she watched her friend's unwavering support. "You always know how to lift me up, don't you?" "Of course, why don't we brainstorm some fundraising ideas?" Sarah suggested, her enthusiasm infectious. The pair spent the afternoon sketching ideas, laughing over coffee as they envisioned community events. A bake sale, a family fun day, and an art auction quickly filled the pages of Clara's notebook, each idea igniting a spark of inspiration. "Let us host an art show featuring the kids' work. We can invite families to come and purchase their favorite pieces," Sarah proposed. Brilliant, we can make it a fun evening with snacks and activities, Clara exclaimed, her excitement returning. I'll start talking to parents this week to gather interest. And so the wheels were set in motion. Clara poured her heart into planning the art show, rallying support from parents, local artists, and businesses. Every day brought new challenges, designing flyers, organizing volunteers, and gathering materials, but Clara faced them all with fierce determination. As the day of the event approached, however, Clara felt the weight of anxiety creeping back in. What if no one showed up? What if they didn't sell enough artwork to cover expenses? The what if spiraled in her mind like a whirlwind, threatening the hope she had cultivated. On the evening before the event, Clara lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. I can't do this, she whispered to herself, tears brimming in her eyes. Just then, her phone buzzed with a message from Mia's mother, inviting her to a small gathering the following day. Perfect timing, Clara thought bitterly. I don't have the energy for anything social. But something within urged her to go. I can't hide from my fears, she murmured as she texted back. I'd love to join. The next day, Clara arrived at the gathering, trying to suppress her anxieties. As she stepped into the cozy living room filled with laughter and the aroma of freshly baked goods, she felt a sense of warmth washing over her. Clara, you made it, Mia exclaimed, rushing over to give her a tight hug. Of course, I wouldn't miss it for the world, Clara smiled, feeling the worries ease slightly in the face of Mia's pure joy. As the evening unfolded, Clara engaged in casual conversations with other parents. One mother shared how the playhouse had been a safe haven for her son who had been struggling with anxiety. It has transformed our lives, she said, her eyes brimming with gratitude. Thank you for everything you do. Clara was taken aback, her heart swelling with emotion. Hearing that means more than you know, she replied sincerely. I am just trying to create a space where every child can thrive. By the end of the evening, Clara felt rejuvenated. She realized that her impact was tangible as she wasn't alone in her journey. She returned home with a renewed sense of purpose and a fire in her belly. The day of the art show arrived, and Clara was buzzing with anticipation. The playhouse, adorned with vibrant artwork hung on the walls, was alive with energy. Parents chatted excitedly, children ran around giggling, and Clara felt the love enveloping her. Clara, look at all the art, Miss squealed, tugging at Clara's hand. It is incredible, isn't it? Clara replied, her smile widening as she took in the colorful masterpieces. She felt proud of the little artists who had poured their hearts into their work. As the evening progressed, Clara mingled with guests, sharing stories behind each piece of art. She felt a rush of joy as children proudly explained their creations, their faces radiating confidence. Clara, Thomas called out, arriving with a warm smile. This is fantastic, you really brought the community together. Thank you, Thomas, it means so much to have your support here, she replied, her heart swelling at the sight of the thriving atmosphere. As the night wore on, Clara felt a swell of hope as artworks were sold one by one. Families were enthusiastic about supporting the playhouse, and the laughter that filled the room was infectious. Clara, we sold all the pieces, Sarah exclaimed, her eyes wide with excitement. Really? That is amazing. Clara beamed, tears threatening to spill over. This is more than I could have hoped for. The night culminated in unexpected moments of joy. Clara watched as parents connected over shared experiences, children made new friends, and the community came alive. By the end of the evening, Clara had not only raised funds for the playhouse, but also fortified the bonds within the community. As families began to leave, Clara felt a wave of gratitude wash over her. We did it, she exclaimed, gathering her friends for a group hug. Of course we did, you're a rock star, Sarah cheered. As Clara stood outside saying her goodbyes, she felt a sense of accomplishment settle in. This was bigger than her dream, it was about fostering connections, creating a safe space for growth, and igniting the flame of hope within each child. In the weeks that followed, Clara implemented new programs at Hope Monster's Playhouse, like art classes, story time, and even family game nights. The Playhouse evolved into a hub of creativity, love, and support, the heartbeat of Maplewood. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Clara sat on the steps of the playhouse, reflecting on her journey. She could hardly believe how far she had come. The struggles, the setbacks, and the moments of doubt had shaped her into a more resilient version of herself. Clara, look, Nick exclaimed, bounding up the steps with a new drawing in hand. It is a rainbow with a hope monster at the end. Clara chuckled, her heart swelling with pride. That is beautiful, Mia, it captures our journey perfectly. Mia grinned widely, handing Clara the artwork. We have so much to be thankful for it, right? Yes, we do, Clara replied, hugging me tightly. Every day brings new hopes, new colors, and new dreams. As they sat together, watching the vibrant hues of the sunset, Clara realized that the challenges she faced had only deepened her gratitude for the moments of joy and connection. Each struggle had been an opportunity to rise, to inspire, and to spread kindness. Clara understood now that hope was not a mere concept, it was alive in every child, every smile, and every act of kindness shared at Hope Monster's Playhouse. She was more than just a nanny, she was a champion of dreams, a nurturer of potential, and a believer in the beauty of the human spirit. And on that peaceful evening, as the stars began to twinkle above, Clara felt a profound sense of peace. She knew the journey ahead would still have its challenges, but she was prepared to face them head-on, armed with resilience, love, and the unwavering belief that hope could conquer all. As the first snowflakes of winter began to dust the earth, Clara stood in front of Hope Monster's Playhouse, a cozy, brightly colored haven nestled amidst the town of Maple. The frosty air nipped at her cheeks, but the warmth of the glowing lights inside made her heart swell with gratitude. "Clara, look at the snow!" Mia's voice rang out, her voice bubbling with excitement as she tugged at Clara's hand, pulling her toward the window. Clara chuckled, bending down to Mia's level. "Yes, beautiful, isn't it? Just like a snow globe. Can we build a snowman after school?" Mia asked, her eyes sparkling. "Absolutely. Just think of the biggest snowman we can make." Clara replied, her heart lifting at the thought of spending time outdoors with the children. However, beneath her cheerful demeanor lay a creeping anxiety that had settled in her chest like a heavy cloak. The playhouse was thriving, yet Clara faced a new set of challenges. Winter was a notoriously tough season for business, and with fewer children attending, her financial worries loomed larger than ever. "Clara, are you ready for the winter activities?" Sarah's voice interrupted her thoughts as she entered the playhouse with a basket of craft supplies. "Ready as I'll ever be," Clara replied, plastering on a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. "Are you sure? You seem a bit off," Sarah observed, her brows furrowing in concern. Clara hesitated, weighing the urge to confide in her best friend against the desire to protect her from worry. "It's just the winter lull. I know it'll pick back up soon," she assured, but the uncertainty gnawed at her. Sarah nodded, but didn't seem convinced. "Remember, Clara, you have a whole community behind you. You're not alone in this." "I know," Clara said softly. "Thank you for being here." As the weeks drifted into December, Clara focused on creating a magical winter experience at the Playhouse. She organized holiday-themed activities, craft sessions, and storytelling nights, pouring her heart into every event. But with each passing day, the numbers remained low, and each empty chair at circle time felt like a weight on her shoulders. One snowy afternoon, Clara stood at the entrance of the Playhouse, watching families trudge through the snow. She felt a spark of hope when she noticed a familiar figure approaching. It was Thomas, the investor who had believed in her vision from the very beginning. "Clara, just wanted to check in and see how things are going," he greeted cheerfully. "Hi, Thomas," Clara replied, trying to match his energy. "Things are moving along. We were just trying to get through the winter slump." He nodded, his expression shifting to one of concern. "I understand. How can I help?" Clara paused, grappling with the vulnerability of asking for assistance. "I am thinking of organizing a winter carnival, a free event to bring families together and promote the Playhouse, but I need support to pull it off." "I love that idea," Thomas said, eyes lighting up. "Let us make it happen. I can help with funding and resources. We'll get the community involved, food vendors, games, the whole 9 yards." "Really? That would be incredible, Thomas, thank you." Clara's heart soared. "Let us meet next week to plan everything out. This will be a wonderful way to spread joy during the holidays," he replied with enthusiasm. As the planning for the winter carnival took shape, Clara felt a renewed sense of purpose. Together with Sarah, they pulled together a team of volunteers, reaching out to local businesses for sponsorships and donations. "Clara, I've got a contact at the bakery. They can provide hot cocoa and cookies," Sarah exclaimed, her excitement infectious. "Yes, and maybe we can have a craft station where kids can make ornaments to take home," Clara suggested, her mind swelling with possibilities. In the flurry of preparations, Clara found herself swept away by the excitement of the carnival. But as the days passed, the weight of the upcoming event grew heavier. What if no one showed up? What if her efforts were in vain? The night before the carnival, Clara lay awake in bed, her mind racing with worries. "I can't let them down," she whispered, turning restlessly. Just then, her phone buzzed with a text from Mia's mother, a heartwarming message of encouragement that lifted her spirits. Clara, we were so excited for the carnival tomorrow. You were doing something special for all of us. Thank you for believing in our kids. Clara clutched her phone, tears welling in her eyes. I am doing this for all of us, she whispered to herself, reminding herself of the community she loved. The day of a winter carnival dawned bright and cheerful, the air crisp with the promise of a fresh snowfall. Clara arrived early, her heart pounding with anticipation. She and her volunteers set up booths filled with crafts, hot cocoa stations, and game areas. The smell of freshly baked goods wafted through the air, lifting her spirits. Clara, look! Mia squealed as she raced towards her, bundled in layers of winter clothing. It is so pretty, it looks like a fairy tale. Just like your Hope Monster-esque dream. Clara replied, her heart swelling at the sight of Mia's joy. As families began to arrive, the playhouse buzzed with life. Clara watched with delight as children ran to each activity, their laughter echoing like music. Clara, this is amazing! Thomas exclaimed, joining her at the entrance. You've really outdone yourself. Thank you, Thomas. I couldn't have done it without your support, Clara said, her heart full. The carnival unfolded in moments of joy, children crafting ornaments, families sharing stories over hot cocoa, and laughter filling the air like sparkling snowflakes. Clara felt a sense of fulfillment blooming within her as she mingled with guests, sharing smiles and stories. Just as Clara started to breathe easier, a sudden flurry of wind swept through, sending a chill through the crowd. Everyone, gather around, we'll have the story time over here. Clara called, rallying the children to her. As she settled into her cozy corner, surrounded by eager little faces, Clara began to read a beloved winter tale. The children listened attentively, their eyes widening as they were transported into a world of magic. Yet amid the joy, Clara noticed a few parents standing apart, looking uncertain. Gathering her courage, she approached them. Hi there, we do love to have your children join us for story time. There's a warm drink station right over there if you need something. One mother smiled, stepping closer. Thank you. We were just unsure if it was okay, but my daughter loves stories. Absolutely, this is about building community, Clara replied, her heart swelling. As the day continued, Clara felt a wave of love wash over her. The carnival had transformed into something beautiful, a true celebration of community spirit. At the end of the event, Clara stood outside as families left, their hearts full of joy. She hugged me tightly. We did it, look at all the smiles. I can't wait for next year. Mia exclaimed, her eyes twinkling with excitement. You'll be my partner in planning, right? Clara asked, feeling a sense of empowerment. Definitely. Mia squealed, jumping in place. As the last of the families departed, Clara turned to Thomas, who was wrapping up his notes. Thank you for believing in this event, she said sincerely. It was a success because of your help. Thomas smiled, his eyes shining with pride. He brought the community together, Clara. This is just the beginning. I see great things ahead for Hope Monster-esque Playhouse. With renewed hope and the warmth of community surrounding her, Clara felt a transformation within herself. The hurdles hadn't disappeared, but she had learned to rise above them, fueled by the love and support she found in her journey. In the months that followed, the Playhouse continued to thrive. Clara implemented new programs that drew families in, creating a safe space where children could grow, play, and dream. One afternoon, as Clara prepared for the upcoming spring season, she reflected on the challenges she had faced. The journey had been anything but easy, but she had persevered, supported by the love of friends, family, and the community. Clara! Mia burst in, her cheeks rosy with excitement. I wrote a story about our playhouse. Can I read it to everyone? Of course, sweetheart. I can't wait to hear it. Clara replied, her heart brimming with pride. As Mia read her creation aloud, Clara marveled at the growth of the little girl before her. The hope they had nurtured together had blossomed into something beautiful, connecting hearts and igniting dreams. And in that moment, Clara understood that the essence of her journey was not just about building a daycare, it was about creating a legacy of love, resilience, and hope. The Playhouse stood as a testament to the strength of the human spirit, a reminder that even amidst the struggles, dreams could flourish. Under the glow of the evening lights, surrounded by laughter and creativity, Clara knew that her journey was far